I'm back. Hello, for those of you who don't know me, my name is GUSTHY. I'm currently a fourth semester nursing student in an ADN program. I'm expected to graduate this May, God willing. And I just wanted to come on here and share a little bit about my story on how I became a nursing student. Hopefully it can inspire others who are thinking about going into nursing school, or those who are in nursing school or just having a hard time. I see you. I'm praying for you. I love you. But if you're interested, stick around, subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment below any other videos that you would like to see from me. I'm excited to start this journey and to just see where it takes me. I'm excited to share my stories and see how we can relate. So if you're interested, let's jump right into it. Okay, so let's take it back. Let's take it back all the way back. It's senior year of high school, and everybody's doing the damn thing, right? Not even senior year. I feel like since junior year of high school, everybody's like studying for the SATs and stuff. I don't even know what I was thinking. I think in the back of my mind or in the front of my mind, I thought the SATs was just a rite of passage, not really so important for college. I wasn't even thinking about college then. I was just like, I was put into SAT prep class, and I just thought like, oh, this is just like any other class for high school. Like, I didn't think it was like, it was designed to help me pass the SAT, which is a huge college entrance exam. Like, it wasn't formulating and I wasn't understanding or wrapping my head around that concept. So I was like, oh, okay. I was like, me and my best friend are taking SAT prep at the same time. Sure. And we did nothing in the SAT prep class. So yeah, senior year comes. I still don't know what I want to do or who I want to be. But every time a Haitian aunt or uncle or mom and dad or anyone else would ask me what I wanted to be, I would say like the typical answers. Oh, a doctor, a nurse, a physical therapist. Just something that sounds nice so they can shut up, you know, and to not be alarmed. But did Gussie know what she wanted to be? Absolutely not. Did she know what physical therapists, what do they do on a day-to-day basis? Nope. What do nurses do on day-to-day? I don't know. So I was never exposed to that field. You understand? Like, I don't know what nurses do. Like, I'm like, do they wipe people's butts and stick them with blood? I'm supposed to touch the blood? Like, I was just thinking the worst of it, right? Like, no one was there to like navigate my thought process or to be like, no, what you're thinking is wrong. This is exactly what it is. Like, no one was there. I wasn't really that interested to research about it. I was just upset that the information wasn't falling into my lap. So because it wasn't falling into my lap, I was just like, well, whatever. So it started to hit me when acceptance letters were coming in for other students. This one's getting accepted to, I don't know, some prestigious 4-year school. This one's going to university. This one's going out of state. This one's going, and everybody's getting all these letters of acceptance and full financial coverage. And I'm just like, oh, like, okay. So I sent, first of all, I don't even remember. I think I sent like 6 college applications, but the way New York, I don't know, like, I can't even explain it because I myself didn't understand it at the time. I still don't. But I sent in my applications to colleges, all within the state, all kind of local. And I didn't get into any one of them because my SAT scores are low and my GPA was low. Because something you should know about me, from the day I came upon this earth and I started school, I never liked school. And I know people say that, but if you ask my grandmother who raised me, if you ask my adoptive mom who spent 4 years with me, I'm one of those students that float on by until the last quarter of the semester or of the year. I will be at the teacher's door or the advisor's door saying, what can I do to make it up or to boost my grade up? I was always that student, always that student. Always. There was nothing. I think around 10th grade, algebra was very interesting to me. But then I can't remember if it was the actual algebra or if it was because my crush was in the same class as me and I was obsessed with them. Like, I don't remember what it was. But other than that, no, like, people would be like, what about science? What about history? I started understanding history around 10th grade, 11th grade. I liked it. But again, it could have just been that the teachers were amazing. But do I have a passion for history enough to do it my entire life? No, absolutely not. And these are the questions that I was asking. I was like, I'm not exposed to enough in the world as a high schooler to decide on something that I want to do for the rest of my life, which is so crazy to even think about now that I'm thinking about it. You want me to make a decision about my future, and I don't even know where I'm going. Like, I just didn't understand that whole concept. But anyways, I sent in my applications. I don't get accepted to my top 2 choices. I get accepted to a community college. So I'm like, oh, well, I'm going to community college. And I told my mom, I was like, oh, that's not so bad. Like, you can always go and then transfer. And I was like, oh, I could transfer? Again, another thing that no one told me, or I didn't pay. If someone did tell me, I didn't pay attention. It didn't register in my brain, right? I'm like, oh, so I can go to this college and then do well and then transfer to a 4A? She was like, yeah, you can do that. So I go into school, and the first semester I took your basic gen ed courses. I took 5 classes. Fall 2009, I took 5 classes, right? So I took English 101, history, speech, psychology, and an intro to college course, which was a passive fail course. At the end of that, my GPA was a 2.5. Then spring of 2011, I switched my major from liberal arts to massage therapy because I was like, you know what? I want to do something in the health industry, but I just want to get a little taste of it. I don't know if this is like for me. So like, what's science-y enough that helps me take care of people, or like, but that's not like hospital, you know? So I was like, ooh, massage therapy. That sounds nice because I like massages. So maybe I'll like giving massages. Girl. So I switched my major to massage therapy, and one of the courses that you have to take for massage therapy is Anatomy 1. Yeah. So the classes for that semester, I had Drawing 1, Anatomy 1 with lab, Nutrition and Health, and Math, which was a writing intensive course. Yeah, you heard that right. The drawing, I got an A-, Anatomy 1 with lab, I got an F. Nutrition and Health, I got a D+, and Math, the writing intensive course, I got a C-. That brought my GPA to a 1. Well, that term, my GPA was on 1.5. So I was on academic probation. I lost my financial aid financial aid was like, oh yeah, so we're not about to cover this. Like, we're not about to waste our time on you. So I think the next semester I had to take out loans. That's when I first started taking out loans. And I didn't have plans to take out loans, especially not in community college. Like, I was just like, what? Like, okay. But then when that loan this disbursement hit my account, I was like, oh, we doing this every semester. See, that's how they get you. I come back to school, and then I take a business course, a French course, a number of systems, which is another writing intensive course, a music video dance class, and a human growth development. I gotta say though, that business course was literally, I think, the entire 8 years I spent trying to figure out myself in college. I think the business course was the most interesting course that I've ever taken. It was so informative. I love the way the professor taught. She was really nice. And I think that was my first A in college, and I was very proud of it. In that semester, I got my first 3.0 GPA, so I'm hyped, right? So I continued on out, and I graduated in 2013 with my associates in liberal arts and sciences at a community college. It took me 4 years so I entered 2009 and I graduated 2013. It took me 4 years because I kept switching my major from liberal arts to massage therapy to something called STEM. It was like a liberal arts, but it was like a STEM concentration, which stands for science, technology, engineering, and math. Whatever. Anyways, it took me 4 years to get my associates in liberal arts. Okay? Then I go on to a 4-year university. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes. I go on to a 4-year university, and I'm like, you know what? Let's start fresh, right? What do I want to be? I was like, pre-med. I was like, I want to be pre-med. And then I took a long look of the list of classes that I took a long look of those lists of classes that I had to take for pre-med. It was anatomy 1, anatomy 2, biology 1, biology 2, organic chem. No, chem 1, chem 2, organic chem, biochemistry, physics 1, physics 2. And I was just like, when am I going to finish with these prerequisite classes? Because I can't take them together. Because I was speaking from the fact that I took anatomy 1 and I failed. So I'm not about to take bioanatomy and physics all together. Like, who do you think I am? I was like, okay, so pre-med is not it. I was like, you know what? With all my credits transferred in, which one gets me more, where does my credit go further? Like, which major does my credit go further in? So my advisor was like, let's do psychology. And I was like, oh, okay, sure. I know one thing about psychology. I was like, oh, that human development course, I didn't really care for it, but let's see if this is any different. So I majored in psych, and I was doing okay. And then for some reason, I went through like this breakup, sadness, depression. And then my GPA went from like a 3.1 to, again, like a 1.7 this time. And that was like in December. Well, like, no, that was like the end of the the end of fall semester in 2016. In 2017, I couldn't enroll because I was on probation, and I decided to enroll in a private university. Worst mistake of my life because I still owe them that money from that semester. Never went back. I took the classes. I took 4 classes at that private university, and then they were like, "Hey, you still owe us $30,000 for these classes." And I was like, "I'm sorry, what?" I'm like, "I think your comma is messed up because I think, or like you're adding too many zeros. I think that comma is supposed to be a period between the last 2 zeros." Like, they're like, "No, no, no." Like, it's $30,000. I was like, "Oh, what? That's crazy." So I never went back. And I decided to enroll back into my 4-year public college that I was at, and I had to write a letter that was stating like what I've learned and what I was going to do differently to make sure that I don't fall into the same pits of a 1.7 GPA. And I did that, and they accepted it, and I was back in school, and I graduated from my 4-year university, 4-year college, the summer of 2018. That took me 4 years. And I graduated with a 2.6 GPA. It's crazy. Like, my journey has been so, like, it's like, I've made so many mistakes, and people are like, "Oh, what have you learned?" What have I learned from that? I think don't go to college if it's not for you. I don't know. I don't want to say anything that's gonna like mess up people's flow in the way they're thinking about their future, but I'm just saying, like, if you don't know what you want to do, make a plan. Because the worst thing is not knowing what you want to do but not having a plan. It's okay if you don't know what you want to do. That's like, I think it's okay if you don't know what you want to do, but make a plan to find out what you do want to do. You understand? So it's like, okay, I don't know if I want to be in the health industry. So what should I do about that? I should explore to see if I can get volunteering positions in hospitals to see if it's something that I like to do. But no one was there guiding me. They were just throwing out ideas like, "Oh, you should be this, you should be that, you should do this, you should do that." But no one was saying like, "Oh, this is how you go about it." And it's not like back in the day, I didn't have YouTube. YouTube wasn't this big where it's like now every information's on YouTube. Like, everything was very private, very secret. YouTube wasn't like banging back then. Like, it was completely different. But so summer of 2018, I graduated with my bachelor's, and summer 2018, I made the decision, thanks to God. Thank God, He sent people to me to confirm His word, because I was so unsure. Like, I was always playing with that line, like, should I not, should I not? And He sent 2 people. Shout out to Megan. I love you, girl. Thank you for always encouraging me and literally like being my biggest cheerleader. Like, she would come into where I work. I used to work at a bank, and I just, one day, God told me, like, just ask her what she does. And I asked her, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm a nurse." And I was just like, "You don't say. Tell me more." And she was like, "Yeah, girl, you should do it. Like, what are you waiting for? Like, do it. Now's the time." And every time she would come in, she would always like tell me to go for it. And another person, I can't say their name because they are a teacher at my school currently. So at the time that she knew me, well, like, we got to know each other, she wasn't teaching at the school. She was teaching at another university, and she would come in and she would just be like, "What are you doing here? Like, you are like, I can just see your potential. Like, you could go so much further if you like did nursing. I'm just like, I know, but like, I don't know, like, how would I go about it? She was like, yo, like, take courses, like she was like, look at your transcript, send your transcript, such and such. Like, she was so on point with it. And then they motivated me so much that I decided to come home and like just do my research, type in like nursing programs in my state, nursing programs within 5 miles or 10 miles from my home. And I saw programs and I was like, okay, now let's look at how much they cost, like which one, because now that I'm out of college, I know financial aid is not providing for me. That's gonna have to come out of my pocket. So I need something that's going to be quick, but also not expensive at all. So I saw one at a local community college, and their NCLEX ratings were top notch. But I also knew that it was very competitive because there were talks that that program was going to change into a BSN program. So I was like, oh, like, should I not? Should I not? But thankfully, like, I watched a YouTube video. Am I talking right? I watched a YouTube video of a girl named Crystal Denzer. She posted a video about how she went from a 1.7 to a nursing student, and she really inspired me. Like, she hit it on the nail, because that was my fear. My fear was like, because I know, like, I graduated with a 2.6, but because I had such low GPAs, would they even accept me, right? Even if I did do well, like I did, let's say like I did well on my prerequisites, but because I had such a low GPA, would they accept me? And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna leave it to God. And God sent that video on my timeline, and I was encouraged enough. Literally the next morning, I was on the phone with my colleges and I was like, hey, can you send my transcripts over to such and such school? And they did. I applied and I got in and I enrolled for classes and started taking my prerequisites. And now I'm sitting in front of this camera telling you that I'm going into my last semester of nursing, of my nursing program. Like, that's so crazy. I feel like I've come so far, but I still have so much more to go. But for those of you who are thinking about going into nursing school and who probably are in the same predicament where your GPA is low, or you have loans to pay, or you have just so many other burdens that are and hurdles that are stopping you from achieving this dream of yours, I just want to encourage you and say that regardless of the hurdles, let's think about it, the hurdles are always going to be there. Whether you are alive, dead, you become a nurse or not, the hurdles are always going to be there. So don't make the decision based on if the hurdles are there or not, because they're always going to be there. Make the decision because you see that you are worth the sacrifice. You see that you are worth doing something for yourself and possibly for your family. You are worth the sacrifice, the love, the energy that it takes to pour into someone. Don't let like life's troubles or bills, there's always going to be bills. Like, bills will always be there. Different. I still live with my parents and I'm at home and I don't have kids and I don't have a mortgage. But if it's possible, and I know it's possible, you can still do it with the right support system. Put yourself first. Go after your dreams, go after your goals. You can still do it. Don't let like your past start sneaking up on you and start whispering things in your ears and saying like, oh, you're not worth it, or they'll never accept you. Because if you listen to that voice, you're going to be stuck in this routine and you're going to resent yourself and you're going to start resenting the other people in your life. So you don't want that, right? So you want to just create a plan and go for it. And the worst that could happen is nothing comes of it. Nothing come of it. But I know something will always come of it because you're going to give it your all. You're going to try. So just try your best. right? Just try your best. Just, if you don't know, there's so many different resources out there. Now there's YouTube, there's Google, there's, you could shoot me a DM. You could, if you have any questions, just be like, yo, like, I'm in this predicament. What do you think about this? And I'm like, okay, like, here's my opinion. Or here are people that you should talk to. Speak to your advisors at school. Let them know, like, I'm interested in this, and this has nothing to do with my major. How do I go about this? And now the world is changing so fast. There's so many, like, math programs and STEM programs and coding programs. You don't even need a college degree anymore. Like, the fact that it took a pandemic for people to realize you don't need entrance exams like SATs and ACTs anymore blows my mind, because the amount of stress those tests put on me was ridiculous. And to see that they have no value now pisses me off. But anyways, back to what I'm saying. Please, 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 like, I would say, go after your dreams, go after your goals. Don't wait. Create the plan. Speak to your support system. Oh, girl, that English. And create a plan. That way you're able to achieve all your dreams and all your goals, because you're so worth it. I think that's the number one thing that I would, even through all those trials and tribulations, me going through depression, me being on academic probation twice, me taking so long to get a bachelor's degree, I would always say, like, the only thing that I regret is that I didn't do this sooner. But now I understand why it took me so long. I mean, yeah, I was hard-headed, but the other reason is, like, I guess I just had to go through this journey so I can see, like, God was making a way all along. So hopefully this was able to inspire you and give you some just, like, encouragement on how to go about your journey, the rest of your journey, whether you're making the decision to go to nursing school, or whether you're thinking about dropping, or whether you're wherever you are in your journey. I hope this was able to encourage you and to shed some light on what you should do. Share it with someone that's going through a transition period that needs encouragement. Comment below any other videos that you might like to see from me. I would love to, like, record more videos for you guys. But I think that's it. I think I'm done. This was very nerve-wracking. But yeah, we did it. I'll see you